Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we're going to work on Robocop Stage 50 or Pack 50, Part 50, however you want to call it. Let's go ahead and get the parts open. I will also, after this part of the build, be continuing on and doing Part 2 of the premium base. Something that costs a little bit more with the subscription, but I think it was worth it because I wanted the lighted base. I know people that say that these bases are obnoxiously large. I want an obnoxiously large base for a model kit that I pay as much as I do for these things. So we've got the front of the pelvis, we've got the EM screws, we have the other half of the support rod and a couple of pins to put the support rod together. This time it is not blown all the way through, but it has actually broken the bubble pack a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this piece first, just to get the support rod out, just to get it out of the way. And so what we've got here is we've got this piece of the rod that will slide down inside the bottom, and a couple of holes for those pins to go in, similar to this side of the rod. There's a couple of holes in it for the pins to go through, and there is a keyway on both of them. So we're going to slide this in here, line up the key. It's going to slide all the way down. I just looked, I can see all the way through there. So we're going to slide these pins in. I don't think they're tapered. We're going to slide these pins in there. Maybe. Looks like it might be a little bit larger from the back. Yeah. That one started to go in. And it's not going any further. Pardon my noise while I get my hobby hammer. That's started to engage. And the reason I use the hammer rather than a pair of pliers is the pliers would scar the metal of the rod itself. Let me see. Okay. Once it actually starts threading in, it starts going pretty quickly. Not saying that you should do it this way if you're building this. It's just the way I'm going to do it. Come on. And it is not lining up flush. So let's see if we can put the other one in from the front. That does not appear that it's going to go in easily from the front. I almost lost that pin. That would be a bad thing. It does not want to go in from the front. So let's see if this one will go in from the back as well. Very close to getting a file or a drill and doing a little bit of drilling there to get it to fit. Yeah, because this is starting to scar the end of the pin now. Okay, let me pause and see what I can do about this. I will be right back. Okay, I broke out a drill. I broke out a pair of needle nose pliers. Kept going with the hammer. what I actually was able to do was the bottom one I stuck in from the front. I think it's the front, but from the opposite side after scraping paint out of it. The top one, was able to finally drive it all the way home. The bottom one actually moves back and forth. The top one is in place, and you can see there I did end up scratching a little bit with a pair of pliers. I have pliers that I use for wood shipbuilding. I actually scratched that with one that has no teeth, but there is the rod that will go eventually into the base to support Robocop. So now we'll get the rest of the pelvis out. And while the back of the pelvis was made of metal, I almost said wood, back of the pelvis was made of metal, almost said wood again. The front is made of plastic. Let me just double check. Yeah, it does not say anything about the rods. The thing is, not everybody has all the tools. Those rods should go in a lot, or the pins should go in a lot easier, or they should have been screws so that you can actually screw them in. Neither here nor there. Nothing I can do about it. It is in. Let me get out 3 EM screws. We'll put the hammer away. People I do models with find my hammer to be cute, but it is functional. It's for driving very small nails on a wooden ship. Okay, so on here, just looking. Okay, we turn them over, and there's this post. That's interesting. That must be where other things are going to mount. I was thinking the screws would come in from the back, but they do not. Okay, so you can see here, here, and here are posts for the screws to go into. Same thing on the pelvis, on the front, and then drop the screws through there. So let's go ahead and put this on here. If it'll go. Why does it not surprise me that it is a little bit wonky? Let's see. We'll rotate it towards me a little bit, see if that helps. What is blocking this thing? So that is bugging me a little bit. I almost wonder if I put that on backwards. We're going to go ahead and take this off. The lumbar support or ball joint. That shouldn't be blocking it. It should slide right in. Let me see. Fits right on there with that not in. So just for fun, we're going to take those screws out. We're going to turn this around the wrong way. We're going to put those screws back in. I will deal with fixing that post that comes out of here that is now facing the wrong direction when it comes time to, when I'm able to attach something to it. I just want to see if this is what is causing my problem. It shouldn't be. It looks symmetrical, but I don't know. Let's try again. Interesting. That appears to almost have fixed it. We're going to try and get the one down at the bottom of that hole, bottom here, to go in. Let's go ahead and get the pins or the screw sticking out of there. Get it started. Very interesting that that did that. I'm not positive that that was the actual problem. I may have just got it relined or lined up correctly. But like I said, I will deal with the lumbar support facing the wrong direction at a later point. Might end up having to take this completely apart. That would suck. But you do what you gotta. Okay, that one's tight. Actually, we'll deal with turning that around in a minute here. That one's tight. That one's tight. So let's see if we can turn this without any major problems. There we go, yeah. Not a problem. Got that now facing the right direction. Go ahead and see if we can get this to move, be straight. This is where I snap off that pin. There we go. By the way, there's the pliers I actually scratched that with, the rod with, and you see there are no teeth. So let's take a look. I believe it's the front of the assembly, and put the rod together. So that is all there is to do in stage 50. Let's go ahead and set him over here. Bring over part 2 of the base. Go ahead and cut it out of this bag. And we get the battery pack, which I will be rewiring where it doesn't use batteries. We get the battery pack and the circuit board, or the battery base, I guess, because that is going to fit in there like that. The circuit board, I believe, it's actually popped loose. Set that there. We'll open the book and see what there is to do here. You know what I don't see? Just a second. That's very nice. Let me pause for a second. Let me double check that I didn't throw them away, but I don't see any screws. I'll be right back. Okay, my fault. The screws were in the trash can right next to me. How many of these do we need? There are 8. I'm not sure that we're going to use all 8. I'll go ahead and dump them all out here. And we'll put them away as needed, as they are not used. Okay, so the first thing they want you to do, just looking, going to have to move his legs out of the way, as well as the book, because we're bringing the base that we've done so far over. Position the assembly from stage 1 is shown. To make it easier to assemble, place, and it wants, following their instructions, it wants it over like this. Place the center casting on the center plate. Note the orientation in the circled detail. I don't see I see 4 holes there, but I don't see anything that is special. There's only one way it'll fit on here. So we've got these 4 little posts on there. It's going to go on here like this. It looks like it's die cast, so it's going to need oil. Hang on, it says there are 2 small holes. There are 2 small, no, there are 2 small holes in 2A that align with plate 1B. Okay, there we go. There's a pin here and a pin here. There's 2 really small holes. You can see them here, there, and there. Those holes have to line up with this pin here and this pin here. So I had it 180 degrees out. That's why it didn't fit down as far as it should. Now it's in place, so we will start putting screws in. Not sure what the big difference is. Don't know if it would have made a huge difference if I'd have left it the way I had it originally. And since I think this is probably going to have LED strip tape in it, I'm pretty sure that 4 AAA batteries are going to not last very long at all. Actually, it's 4 AAAs that can't have strip tape in it because the strip tape runs on 12 volts minimum. And 4 AAAs, or yeah, those are AAAs. 4 AAAs are going to be 6 volts. So let's get these screws tightened. Come on. There we go. There's 2. There's 3 going in. And number 4. Just like that. You can see the 4 screws down there. So let's turn the page. So now it says to take your circuit board, put it this side up with all the wiring and everything else, all the metal that's back there, with all that down towards the metal parts in this build. Since this is a circuit board, and since I can see that there are already threads cut, I am not going to dip these in the oil. And I'm also not going to tighten them very tight. It gets oriented this way. And let me get this first one started. I will point it out. Come on. Okay, let's try it this way instead. Because all I'm doing right now is scratching the paint. Find it interesting that these little bitty screws will scratch the paint of this metal piece, or any of the metal actually. When you don't have the screws in the right going into the hole, they scratch the paint. And to me, the paint should not be quite that delicate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten these down most of the way. I'm not going to put a whole lot of pressure onto the circuit board because that's how you break your circuit board. Watching as they go down. Still a little bit of play there. Let's tighten this one down over here. And it is taking some pressure to do this. Because apparently it feels like the hole gets narrower as you go further down. It actually feels like the screws are just about bottoming out. Sorry, you can't see anything through my hands. Okay, so that's the circuit board in place, and I don't know if you can see it. It does have some play. I also noticed that the sockets are not installed the best. So now the next thing they want us to do is take wire A here and plug it into socket A here. But I'm looking. Next connected should be placed in corresponding. Tape the box to 2C, battery box to the central casing, as it will not be secured with screws until all the connections are complete. So they want to looking interesting. This as well has a very specific place it needs to be placed, or way it needs to go on here. So what they want is for you to plug in the wire in here and then just tape it. I'm not going to tape it. I'm not going to plug it in either. It doesn't need to be plugged in right now, so I'm not going to plug it in. What I'm going to do, there we go, is I'm going to line up 2 of these screws. I'm going to barely put in the screws. If the screws get damaged, that's fine because they'll be replaced later. But I'm going to put the screws in like this so that this doesn't go anywhere. I don't know if I can show you this on camera, if you can actually see it. But the wire is not plugged in. Let's see. So the socket is not plugged in. I wouldn't highly recommend, if you're doing this and you get the base, do not plug that wire in because you possibly could rip the wire off while you're opening this and doing other wires. Don't plug it in until it's firmly, this battery box is firmly connected. Otherwise you have possibility of damaging it. So that is where we're at on the premium base. And this is where we're at with Robocop's leg. We've got some other miscellaneous pieces, a single one arm, the head, other pieces. But that is all there is to do in this stage. And I'm going to move him down. I would also be wary of putting too much pressure on these pieces back here, because this could break off. But like I said, that's all there is in this stage. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of new content. That does help the channel, as does making comments. Leave comments that will update the the algorithm from YouTube. It'll help my channel show up on more people's suggested views. And I love comments. I will respond. So with that, I'm going to say take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow, and I will see you in the next video or stream.
Buckman's model mania, hard work models, plastic modeling, wooden models. Buckman's model mania, hard work models, plastic modeling, wooden